This lawsuit is the culmination of a nearly 3-year investigation.
The ACLU of Wisconsin announced a lawsuit on Wednesday alleging the Milwaukee Police Department is using what it calls unconstitutional stop and frisk policies.
Rather than feeling protected, these residents feel under siege.
The lawsuit names 6 plaintiffs who claim while doing everyday activities, they were stopped by MPD because of their race. One plaintiff is a mother who claims her son has been repeatedly stopped since he was 11.
We're standing with other African-American mothers who have to tell their sons constantly, when you stop by the police officers, be calm, answer their questions, cooperate, and you may come home alive.
MPD provided Fox 6 data earlier Wednesday. It says in 2016, 79% of homicide victims and 75% of aggravated assault victims were African American. Also, 81% of homicide suspects and 85% of aggravated assault suspects were African American. Still, attorneys for the plaintiffs argue traffic stops have increased dramatically from 66,000 in 2007 to close to 200,000 in 2015.
These practices, the intentional targeting of thousands of innocent people and disproportionately people of color by police stops and frisks, needs to end.
Relying on social media.
Wisconsin representative joins ACLU lawsuit against Milwaukee police. This article was first published on the Pontiac Tribune by the same author. Wisconsin's ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, just amended their lawsuit against the Milwaukee Police Department. The action, filed at the beginning of 2017 blasting problematic stop and frisks, increased its plaintiff list. Now, Representative David Crowley is joining as a victim of harassment in the troubled city. Milwaukee local TFC writers were notified of these developments by Wisconsin ACLU Associate Director Molly Collins. The notification was issued as a press release to TFC and other local media outlets. According to the release, Representative Crowley, of Wisconsin's 17th Assembly District, was subjected to an unnerving MPD stop. ACLU recounted Crowley's experience, taking place before he'd been elected to his current position. While walking with his god brother, the pair heard distant gunshots and opted to walk away. Gun violence can be quite common in some parts of Milwaukee, particularly during the summer. A patrol car stopped in front of us, says Crowley, and 2 officers jumped out with guns drawn and pointed right at us. I was terrified. He then states officers took their wallets and IDs as the pair stood with hands up. The officers drew their guns on us, searched us without our consent, and never explained why, Crowley states. The pair were then asked if they discarded a gun in the field they were walking in. Representative Crowley feels MPD treated us like suspects, yet we had done nothing wrong. As many with similar experiences feel, Crowley states officers decided the Constitution didn't apply to us. ACLU's lawsuit also added other new plaintiffs, both with similar tales. 19-year-old Jeremiah Oliver says he was stopped without reasonable suspicion, ACLU's statement reads. Yet another, Jeremy Brown, claims an officer stopped him because he didn't recognize his face. According to ACLU, Brown was then ordered to drop everything and stand against a fence for questioning. Upon returning from the police station, Brown was issued a $185 disorderly conduct ticket. The Milwaukee Police Department has been routinely interfering in the lives of tens of thousands of Black and Latino residents, stopping them, searching them, and worse, all without reasonable suspicion and as if the Constitution didn't exist. Karen Rotker, senior staff attorney at the ACLU of Wisconsin. Rotker goes on to state the MPD's routine harassment of minority citizens has deeply eroded trust. Without it, the department's ability to effectively investigate crime is inherently crippled. Ultimately, ACLU hopes to help improve MPD's oversight and community discourse. Not only that, but, as Collins expressed to the author in March, the nonprofit hopes other departments take notice. In Milwaukee County, this may be necessary, as MPD isn't the only concerning department. In a nearby suburb, which borders Milwaukee, officers have long been accused of racially biased policing. The Wauwatosa Police Department, although largely overshadowed by MPD, has left lasting negative impressions in some residents. Such feelings boiled over last summer, when an officer shot his second person in 11 months. The circumstances surrounding Jay Anderson's shooting continue to bounce around the community. Namely, many residents were disturbed at WPD's lack of transparency in the case, and push back against protests staged by Anderson's family. These actions, in fact, were provoked by WPD's reluctance to disclose any information regarding the killing. Prior to the shooting, which the author covered extensively, WPD's transparency issues became the subject of a documentary, also produced by the author. When the lawsuit was first filed, MPD Chief Ed Flynn defended his department's stop and frisk procedure. Specifically, Flynn pointed to a lack of citizen complaints despite increased stops. As Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reported, most stops don't produce tickets, or even arrests. That fact, however, does not remedy the level of distrust the policy has generated throughout Milwaukee. It's difficult to predict exactly how MPD will eventually respond to any success the lawsuit might have. Last year, MPD consented to a DOJ practices probe during a time ripe with protests and investigations. The move was encouraging, as other departments reviewed at that time didn't consent to probes. MPD also went the extra mile, with Chief Flynn attending a massive public forum to hear grievances. The audience joked with dissatisfied citizens victimized by stops, beatings, searches, and even more serious offenses like rape. Confidence in the meeting, however, waned after MPD was then caught using Stingray cell data surveillance to illegally monitor citizens. The surveillance operations were so sketchy, in fact, that they were hidden from courts. Wauwatosa PD also collects and analyzes cell data, though how they achieve this isn't currently known. As the lawsuit develops, it's becoming increasingly clear that something must give. In the last year, Milwaukee has had massive riots, several police shootings, including routine practices. The playing field is primed for ACLU's lawsuit to make headway of some kind. If not, then the public's resentment and frustration will simply manifest again.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So This is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.